Hey everyone, today we're diving into a hilarious story about a doctor who walks to the beat of his own drum. A doctor's good vibes won't hurt anyone, but I sure hope the doctor isn't hurt. Got it. The Dane's threats sound a bit like a joke, but Patch isn't your average rule follower. He decides to throw a study party and invites Catherine. Sounds like a blast. Observing him frown daily over studies, Patch asks curiously why he chose to be a doctor. Catherine says she's only into studying and avoids discussing trivialities. During this, Patch becomes more interested, asking why doctors always refer to patients by illness names. Will doctors get furious? After hearing that, Catherine instantly regrets joining them, while Patch hurriedly explains all this. I just want to say, studying medicine shouldn't be just about books. There's so much wisdom to gain from patients. Did you know, out of 163 students, only 8 are girls? I worked my butt off to get in here, so I need to hustle, so I'm not wasting time on your good doctor theory. With that, Catherine hops on her bike and zooms away, but her independence and seriousness only make Patch more captivated as he pursues Catherine relentlessly, which drives his roommate, Little Fatty, up the wall. Catherine remains as frosty as ice, but Patch doesn't forget about those loving kids, often showing up to the hospital dressed in wacky outfits. Even the serious nurses can't help but chuckle, let alone the innocent, dreamy kids. They absolutely adore this funny doctor. Patch around, the kids seem to forget all the pain, only filled with happiness. The nurses' work becomes much more enjoyable too. The final grades are out, and guess what? The most carefree Patch surprisingly scored second, while diligent Catherine lands at the bottom. Catherine's pride takes a hit, and she grows curious about how this quirky guy learns. But this time around, Patch doesn't deliver a lengthy speech. Instead, he simply pulls out a rubber ball. What an out-of-the-box thinker he is. In her mind, she's thinking, this is gonna be fun to watch. Look at this color here. She shared a picture of this coffee, and Beauty hit like a storm, then took out the ball. She started pulling clown faces. Really, it's all about the laughs. At first, Catherine held back laughter, but soon laughed at her own joke. From that moment on, she begins to believe in Patch's seemingly ridiculous ideas. Who knew this guy was so charming? At night, Patch took them on a sneaky little adventure into the hospital. They sneakily handed a water gun to a very weak old man, and when he woke up, they immediately threw a variety of animal balloons, giving the old man a thrilling African safari adventure. The bursting balloons sounded like fireworks, turning the ward into a fairy tale. This tiny party brought joy to fellow patients, and the nurse on duty heard the commotion and wanted to check it out, but was stopped by the head nurse, who had already recognized Patch's joyful therapy technique. As the popping sounds began to fade, the old man's face lit up with a satisfied smile. She sincerely thanked Patch and his friends for going on a safari in Africa. Had always been her unfulfilled wish. Although it was completed in such a unique way, her heart was filled with contentment and joy. Just then, Patch noticed an old lady nearby and asked her what her wish was. The old lady reminisced, saying that when she was young, her mom would let her reach into the pot to pinch the soft noodle. So she always dreamed of swimming in a pool full of noodles. Seeing the sparkle in the grandma's eyes as she spoke, Catherine finally understood. Everything Patch does is not just a clownish act. It's about igniting hope for life in his patients with love and joy. It also deepens his grasp of patients' ailments, may be Patch's secret to high scores. On the way back, Patch makes another attempt to confess his feelings to Catherine. This time Catherine still doesn't say yes, but she doesn't outright refuse either, smiling as she wishes him good night. She has fully come to appreciate Patch's charm. But even Patch has a patient in the hospital who gives him a headache. The patient in room 305 is extremely irritable. The nurses have to tread carefully when changing dressings. Patch tries to win over the patient who is singing, but the patient thinks he's mocking them for not getting out of bed. The patient angrily throws him out, and Patch's comical state makes the nurses burst into laughter. Turns out there are even people out there whom he can't handle. But in Pat's vocabulary, give up isn't an option. He continues spreading joy in other wards. Unfortunately, an unexpected incident occurs, and he gets caught by the Dean once again. Even though Patch talks a good game, Dean still gives him a good scolding, warning him that if he wants to be a clown, he should join the circus. Patients just need doctors who can prescribe medicine. He orders Patch not to return to the hospital to see patients until his junior internship, or he'll be kicked out immediately. The Dean also questions Patch's exam results, as someone reported him for cheating. Patch instantly realizes his roommate stabbed him in the back, and he storms back to the dorm to confront Little Fatty about why he betrayed him. He asks Little Fatty why he would make baseless accusations against him, only to discover that Little Fatty comes from a family of renowned doctors. From a young age, he has been entrusted with great expectations and has even been honored with prestigious scientific achievement awards. To become the ideal doctor in his parents' eyes, he studies tirelessly, hoping to save lives in moments that matter. But Patch's goofy antics still land him in second place, driving Little Fatty into a jealous frenzy. In the end, they argue and part ways, leaving Patch to seek solace in discussing his troubles with Troom. To his utter surprise, his close friend actually somewhat shows agreement with the Dean's way of doing things. After all, hospitals are places where people endure suffering and face death, yet Patch counters back. For a moment, Truman found himself unable to judge right from wrong and could only advise Patch to keep a low profile in the future. But if she toned it down, she wouldn't be the one and only Patch. The next day, she ignores the Dean's warning and shows up in an angel costume at room 305. Please remember to like and subscribe, as this video comes to an end here.